WPTV.
Welcome back to the desk. After an exciting first round of the NHL playoffs, we're getting closer to crowning our 2023 Stanley Cup champion. Here to break down the action, the latest on the ice with me, we have Joe, Anthony Walker, Andrew, and Anthony Sabino. You know, guys, the Boston Bruins were supposed to have this historical season. They broke the points record, broke the wins record. I thought it was going to be a cakewalk to the Stanley Cup. The Florida Panthers said, hell no, we're still here. We still want to win. They're still alive. They're still pushing for the big-time trophy. Joe, what's happening over with the Panthers? What's been their key to success?
Listen, man, it's all about Panther power, and it's been hot down there in Florida. Listen, there's been a lot of X factors for the Florida team, but I'm going right off the bat with Sergei Bobrovsky. He's been an absolute phenomenal goaltender for them so far this season. 6-2 in the playoffs overall, 9-10 save percentage. And listen, they're down 3-1 at one point against the Boston Bruins. They won 6 in a row since. And, they finally, cooled down a little bit after losing to Toronto a couple days ago in Game 5. In Game 4. But other than that, Sergei Bobrovsky's been the man so far for the Florida Panthers.
Goaltending, one of the biggest key positions in all of sports. They're getting help from Bobrovsky, certainly. Anthony Walker, where are we going?
Yeah, if you can get hot in the right time in the NHL playoffs, you are set. And the Panthers have been riding that momentum. They have been absolutely phenomenal. And Joe kind of mentioned it earlier, you kind of glossed over it. Do you know how hard it is to win 6 straight games in the NHL playoffs, especially against the Boston Bruins, who are historic, and the Toronto Maple Leafs are not. I know we make fun of them because they can't win a playoff series, whatever.
But they're not an easy team.
They're not an easy team. They're not slouches, right? So the fact that the Panthers have won 6 straight games before losing the other night, that's really, really impressive, and I expect the Panthers to keep riding that momentum into the next round.
Hey, man, you don't have to disrespect my Maple Leafs like that. We're trying over here. We already broke the first round hump for once.
Since 2004 is the first time you guys won a playoff series, by the way.
That's what I'm saying, man. I kind of got Maple Leafs colors on. Almost. Not quite the dark blue, but we're trying out here. Andrew, Gavin.
I'm going to say, you got to go with the leadership here. It's going to be Eric Staal. It's going to be Matthew Tkachuk. It's going to be Barbag. And, all these leaders, the acquisitions they make, they have playoff experience. They know what it takes to be in the NHL playoffs. And we all know the NHL playoffs are the hardest cup to get, hardest championship to win.
Definitely gotten leadership, definitely been a lot of key veterans helping out with their success. Sabino, I know you've been watching the playoffs closely. What have you been seeing from the Florida Panthers?
What I've been seeing is that they have a really aggressive forecheck. They play hard on the boards, and they play a simple game. That's what playoff hockey is all about. You play simple, you play hard on the boards, and it's all about those one-on-one puck battles that they've been winning, which always leads to a goal for them.
Definitely anytime you can get the face-off, set up offensive opportunities, help out your defense, get obviously pressure the other team's goaltender, definitely going to help out. But a team that hasn't, overexceeded expectations like the Florida Panthers, a team that's really underwhelmed, specifically my dear friend Andrew Gavin right here, is the New York Rangers. Andrew, I'll start out with you. Gerard Gallant, he's out as head coach. Rangers have made a number of moves this season, looking to push for contention, get that Stanley Cup back to MSG. Unsuccessful. Talk me through it.
This falls on Chris Drury now. He needs to figure out the cap. We're not getting Kane back. We most likely aren't getting Tarasenko back. We got to keep Miller. Got to keep a lot of people looking at Gallant here. 2 seasons, the record, really good record. 100-plus point seasons, 217 points, and 2 playoff appearances. 2022, an Eastern Conference Final. Lost to the Devils. Congratulations, Joe. You won. Whatever. No one showed up. But the problem here.
Still wins to win in my book.
The problem here is the cap. That's an issue going forward. Miller, you got Tyler Mott, you got to figure out Shesterkin, you got to figure out Adam Fox because he has a big contract. Maybe take a pay cut, see what happens if we work it. They don't have money, and all the money goes to the Knicks because of that owner over there, James Dolan.
Deservedly so.
That's a problem they got to figure out. And this was their year, losing in the Eastern Conference Final last year. Thought they could be Stanley Cup favorites this year, but lost in the first round, so you got to see what they can do next season. Their window's closing quickly.
Hey, the Rangers have been historically better than my Knicks, so I don't want to hear anything about that. We'll get into the Knicks later with Najee and the guys over on the NBA crew. But Joe, obviously, your Devils took out the Rangers. Gerard Gallant no longer there. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, honestly, I don't think he should have been fired anyways. I think they should have kept him maybe for 1 more year or so because it's interesting. I think the players kind of underperform in a way. And listen, they have Igor Shesterkin, probably one of the top goaltenders in the league. You hope you don't waste him like you did with Henrik Lundqvist. They haven't won a cup with him, and he was on many talented teams on the Rangers in his, I believe, 12 or 15 years of playing in the league. And one thing I realized that one element that the Rangers, I believe, didn't do was get speed during the trade deadline or during the season. I love the Vladimir Tarasenko move. I love the Patrick Kane move. On paper, the Rangers were a really good team, right, overall. But I think there was too much puck-dominant players on the overall team. And also the kid line, they didn't do that bad this season. I like the Lafreniere, Capo, and also with Philip Seidel as the dominant center on that fourth line. But they didn't get the deserving status that they should have got in more playing time as well, especially on the power play unit.
Yeah, the power play overall as a whole, probably the reason that they lost the Devils, just couldn't get the puck in the net when they had the numbers.
The power play is what made the Rangers. Chris Kreider especially. And,
4 goals.
They had 4 goals and everything. And then games 3 to 5, they went 0 for 18. And you can't have that in the playoffs.
Sabino, what are your takeaways on the Rangers season?
Despite their good record, they kind of looked lost at times. They played a really inconsistent season, in my opinion. And though they got big names, but at one point they just seemed like they had too much talent. Like Patrick Kane is a guy that he needs time. He needs his own space to do his own thing. But
He was also injured.
Yeah, he was also injured. But you also have a first and second overall pick on the third line, not getting top line minutes. They need to play with more experienced guys. Like the kid line is good. They have good chemistry, but they need to play with those more experienced guys like Mika Zibanejad, Artemi Panarin, so they can learn a few things.
Panarin's got to leave. Panarin didn't even show up in the
He
playoffs.
didn't.
It's definitely got a good mix of young and old talent. Anthony, your thoughts on the Rangers?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of like a fantasy team for a little while. You add Tarasenko, you add Kane, you get all this talent, but it doesn't really give your team enough time to gel, right? And enough time to come together. I'm curious to see what the Rangers do with Tarasenko and Kane. I believe both are unrestricted free agents.
Yeah, they're going to leave. They don't have money.
I mean, so I wonder what they do with that. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to see the Rangers attempt to run it back, but obviously there's cap troubles there. It's tough to say where the Rangers go from here, but I mean, it was unfortunate because I don't think the team had enough time to gel and really formulate, a plan to make it to the far end of the playoffs.
Yeah, I know, especially after last season, it looked like Gallant was going to be the head coach of the future. It looked like a lot of promise. Then you kind of put all your chips on the table this year, and it doesn't work out in the way that you want. But the team that knocked out the Rangers just got knocked out by the Carolina Hurricanes in their own right. Joe, I know this hurts you. The Devils are out of the playoffs. They had a great season, really potentially overachieved, exceeded expectations. What are your takeaways from the Rocha Prudential?
Yeah, missed it. They were down 2-0 at one point, but we're gonna head over to Raleigh, North Carolina. We're gonna take a look at Game 5 last night. Listen, right off the bat, transition here, nice cross pass by Timo Meier right to Dawson Mercer, who was able to chip in the first goal of the game for the Devils. Beautiful tip right there. That's a really hard goal to make right there. So Devils are up early 1-0. But Carolina, obviously, we know how good they are. Marinook to Slavic from the top of the blue line, able to just shoot it from the top of the blue line, just gets past Kira Schmid, who was a goaltender for Devils, right through the 5-hole. So that ties it 1-1 early in the second period. But Devils didn't stop. Dougie Hamilton rips one from the top of the blue line again, off the deflection off Anderson. Timo Meier is able to chip in there right through the 5-hole as well of Anderson, and they're up. Now the Devils are winning 2-1. Second period almost comes to an end. Carolina, a lot of turnovers by New Jersey right here, but Brett Burns, just absolutely nasty wrister. Siegenthaler and Stahl both caused traffic in front of Akira Smith's vision. You're not able to see the puck. Brent Burns shot is able to go in as it becomes in. Nothing in the third period, but Carolina, here comes overtime. I hate overtime. It's probably one of the biggest hard times of your life, but Katakami, his shot goes off, deflected off Jesper Foss, and that concludes the game right there. Canes win in overtime, 3-2, and they win the series overall 4-1. And get a lot of credit to Carolina Hurricanes. They're a very dominant team. Third time in a row they won the Metro. 5 straight seasons making it to the playoffs. The last time they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals was 2019. That was Brendan Moore's first year as a head coach, and he's made it to the playoffs ever since 5 years with them. But for the Devils, successful season for them. I'm upset how we lost. But at the end of the day, they have a young core. They have a lot of veterans coming back as well for this roster. And I'm super excited to see what next year, especially with superstar Jack Hughes, who had a phenomenal playoff run as well.
Yeah, that was a great breakdown there, Joe. A lot of promise over with the Devils, a lot of promise going next season. The Carolina Hurricanes, definitely a Stanley Cup contender. Sabino, I'm going to throw it over to you. What did you see from this series? You think Carolina can bring home a Stanley Cup? What do you think of the Devils season as a whole? Take me through it.
I think the Canes can pull off a Stanley Cup here. They have a great team. They play very physical. They have great defense. They made the Devils look really slow, even though they're the fastest team in the NHL. The Devils, they need to grow. Like they don't play a physical. Yeah, they don't have the experience, but they look very promising. But they also need a little bit more physicality. They're not that kind of team right now.
You know, obviously it takes one step to get forward now. Obviously, you saw the Rangers get that first step last season, underachieved this season. Devils got that first step. We can see what moves they make next year. You know, Walker, I'll take it over to you. I know your Islanders always hurt you a little bit, but Devils obviously now out. What did you see from that series?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Devils are just a young team. I mean, I like where Sabino went here. They're a young team, and they don't have that experience yet, but they have to get that experience. They have to be, they have to go through the ringer a couple times. And if they do that, they should be in a good spot to win.
Andrew Gavin, give me your thoughts.
Just got to look 2 o'clock right now, so they're probably teeing off on the golf course right now. So, I'm happy. Schmidt stepped up. Only one that really stepped up, Timo. No, they missed on the highlight. They missed the opening net goal he almost did. They missed that. He also missed that goal.
You can bash the Devils all you want. You lost in the first round with a superstar team to a very young, unexperienced team. So you really can't talk at the end of the day. Just think about it. You lost in 7 games. Listen, you guys are watching us from home. So I'm fine. Listen,
you're golfing right now.
Listen, you guys have higher expectations than us. We weren't even supposed to be in the playoffs, and here we are in the second round. We lose to a great Carolina Hurricanes team.
Yeah,
but hey, you want to bash Devils.
Devil fans talk so much, but you're getting mad now.
Yeah, because Rangers fan base isn't a trash fan base that talks as well.
A trash fan base?
That's kind of crazy.
Do you think chanting Igor, what does that do?
Yeah, well, listen.
What does that do?
Hey, listen.
That's
I
the
hope you guys
worst
listen.
chant
At the end
ever.
of the day, I hope Igor Shesterkin's career doesn't get wasted. That's all I hope, because he's too good of a goaltender on the talented Rangers team that shouldn't win a cup.
Some fireworks on the hockey block. Last hockey block of the year. I'm very excited to bring NHL back to Sports Desk this year. We had a number of great conversations this year, number of great debates, particularly with you two. Very enjoyable. But keep things with us here as we go from the ice to the football field, the gridiron, Mark and the NFL crew, the NHL to the NFL. We're in the NFL offseason, got a lot of moves to break down here after the NFL draft. Stick with us here on WPTV.